Hello, I'm at UK Game Expo with the one and only Kate. I'm going to resist the urge to call you Georgie, because you will forever be Georgie in my mind. Hello.
Hey, it's nice to see you. It's been ages since I've seen you, Alex, and you're looking absolutely fantastic and doing amazingly well, which is incredible. So, normally we are crawling through some undergrowth in a larp field doing something stupid.
In November.
Yes, that we shouldn't do. And actually, we're sat at the NEC in Birmingham in quite a civilised little outdoor enclosure, and it's actually really nice. It's like we're adults or something. Oh dear.
I won't tell if you don't.
No, absolutely fine, no problem.
So what is your current job title here? What is the official thing on your door?
So I am the marketing manager for the UK Games Expo, which, if anyone doesn't know, is the world's third largest and the UK's largest hobby game show. And hobby games, obviously they're listening to you, that's anything from board games, anything tabletop, role-playing games, LARPs, cosplay stuff we have included as well. There's card games, war games, dice games, anything that's got the games on, that's us.
Out of interest, who's the second biggest?
So second biggest is Gen Con, and they've been lovely. One of the things over the last year is that Richard Denning, one of our directors, has had a little group with people who organise shows around the world, and so we've been having really good talks with Gen Con, who are in Indianapolis in America. I'm a big fan of Gen Con. We normally go over there. We were supposed to go over last year, and then the world went sideways and we didn't. And they've been super helpful. Everyone's been sharing best practice. How do we get around this? How do we make sure things are safe for people? What do we do? How on earth do we run a live show again? Please let us run a live show. And the culmination of that is that UK Games Expo opened yesterday. I'm so sorry, I have alarms. Give me 1 second.
No problem. Go for it.
So the culmination of this is that yesterday at 9 o'clock in the morning we opened our doors for the first time, and we had amazing gamers come through, and by about 3 minutes past 9 this morning when we opened the doors, there were already 4 tables at Alley Cat Games full of people having game demos. So that is absolutely extraordinary.
Fantastic. So last year it went virtual. How was organising that? In terms of like the scope, and whenabouts did you guys have to make the decision that virtual was the way to go?
So we were looking at last year. So this is the interesting thing. In 2019, I keep saying last year, but it's 2019. Before now, in the before times. Yes. We had 25,704 unique visitors, which we were very pleased with. And then in 2020, ticket sales were on track to do at least 30,000 people. And we had 3 halls in the NEC. We had the Hilton Hotel. We had all the Piazza rooms at the NEC. And then this little thing called COVID popped up, and we're looking at it thinking, well, that's not going to be okay, is it? We can't do this. We need a responsibility to our community to say that's not what we do. Okay, let's push it until August in case it's one of these things that has a little blip. It's had an actually rather large blip, and so we were getting together as a team once a week because we all got put on furlough because we run a show, and if we can't run a show, there's not a lot else you can be doing. But we're having a team meeting each week to say, hey, is everyone okay? Is everything all good? And then it was like, can we run a virtual show? And I was like, how do we run a virtual show? The whole point of UK Games Expo is you see things face to face. You go there, you touch all of the board games, you roll the dice, you're actually round a table role playing with other people. That's part of the joy, is the socialising, is that aspect of it. It's like, well, how can we do this? So we then had his conversations with people like Tabletopia, who are absolutely wonderful from a board gaming side. We started a Discord server, which I had already been using because I was playing role-playing games online on Roll20, because our group is spread out across the UK and also Ireland, and so I knew what was going on for that. But then we looked at it and we talked to our very lovely tech, who's called Tom Usher, and he does all of our web development and tech stuff. And a plan came together, and we had this argument where it was kind of like, are we going to run a show? Well, here's why, here's not, here's why, here's not. And at the end of it, Tony said to everybody, as one of our directors said, are we going to run a show, yes or no? And we went around the group, and Rich and I was like, yes. And Tess is like, I was uncertain, but yes. And Finney's like, yes, we're going to run this show. And Tony's like, well, we're going to run a virtual show then, aren't we? So then it was a case of, how does this work? What do we need for web pages? We completely redesigned the website to make it accessible specifically to get to places. And that was one of the things. So role-playing games and things we listed as we would normally, and then we would say, where do you want to have your game? So if you're running it in Roll20, if you're running it in Fantasy Grounds, if you're running it in... there's a new one out that I haven't used that everyone else...
Foundry?
Foundry, yes, thank you. I keep thinking Steelworks Foundry. People speak highly of it. So lots of people were trying that. Some people just ran it in Discord. We had rooms in Discord on our channel specifically so you could play games. Yep. So you could be on Tabletopia or you could be on Roll20 and you could do your chat and video through Discord. So you weren't, making the other platform charge. It meant that you could chat to people while you're doing stuff. So we said there's still had the social stuff going on. And that was actually extraordinary. And we thought, if we get 5,000 people turn up for this over the weekend, we will be pleased. So when 15,000 people hit our servers in the first 30 seconds and they fell over, and then after a little bit of shouting, they went away and strapped on a whole bunch more servers, and I think officially we have 15,000 people over the weekend that was registered, but we actually have traffic for about 30,000 last year, which is amazing. And it was also wonderful because we got to play with a load of people in Europe who stayed up late. Got to play with all of the UK and Ireland, and then because people got up early and our lot stayed up late, people played with East Coast of America and some completely bonkers people on the West Coast of America who just got up at stupid o'clock to come to the show, and that was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, it was weird and it's very strange. And we obviously we have a big office, so we had some few people in our office and some people in an office down our hall that we borrowed, so everyone was massively at distance, masked up, all the rest of it. And then we had satellite groups around the UK that we were using our Discord channel to keep track of, so that people could answer questions and be helpful and generally do the volunteering ambassador roles that they do here, as well as direct anybody what's going on, because it's a massively disparate audience. You have some people who are monstrously tech savvy. You say to them this, and they basically pull up something from Star Trek and go, well, here's something I connected earlier and now we're on Mars. You're like, oh, that's splendid. And then we've also got people who perhaps are much less tech savvy, and we realised that the instructions that we had out, we needed to pitch to people who just didn't know the tech. And that's not because they're not especially tech savvy, it's because we want people to join in. So you always have to pitch it so it's clean and it's clear and everyone knows what's going on. And that was interesting because you had to look at it and go, well, actually, we need to do this, and we need to do a way that we're not patronising people. We never want to do that. We want to include people, but we're never sure what people don't know. So we have to start from first principles. So we made a couple of little videos, we put those out. We were trying to share stuff on social media. And yes, we had an exhibitor hall, so all of our website got redone so that when you went into an exhibitor booth, so you could actually walk around the hall, and wonderful artwork on the sides as a cartoon version of the actual hall from Andre Schneider, who's one of our artists and things for Expo. He can't be here this year, but we're hoping to see him at Essenspiel this year. And then you clicked on the stand, it opened up, the exhibitor could put in the web links where they wanted to go, and there was a live chat feature, so you could click on it and you could actually talk to the person as though you'd arrived at their booth. And bless them, a lot of our exhibitors had set up a booth or a stand like they would here, but it was just in their kitchen. So you'd be chatting to them, one of the kids would come in, get a cup of tea. It was good. It was always the cat invasion on the cross of thing. It's how it is in the virtual playing, but yeah, it was weird and awesome, but and it was virtually Expo, because you could do virtually everything you could at the show, and therefore it was virtually Expo, and it's okay, we just needed to wait for 2021, so yeah.
Are you likely to continue doing that in a lesser capacity in future years, given that it's kind of broken in people that couldn't make it normally due to geography?
So we're not sure about this. We haven't done it this year because normally it takes 9 months to plan this show, and we basically came back to work in May. And it's now the 31st of July, and that's not very much time to create a show. So we didn't this year, but what we have done is that we have a takeover of the UK Games Expo website on the front page. On Tabletop, our media partners, from 1 o'clock each day, they take over the website and they basically start broadcasting all of the stuff that the guys here have put around the show and seen what's going on and all of this kind of stuff. So if you're not able to come to the show, you're not able to come here this year, then have a look on the website from 1 o'clock until 7 o'clock each day. We've got that going on. Some of them are live stuff that they've recorded here. Some things that people have got in touch with them before the show and say, hey, we're going to be at the show, but we have no time to talk to you. So yes, check out those. It's really, really good. The other thing we have that we learned from the virtual show is that we have exhibitor events. So if you go to the events part of the website, the exhibitor piece, you go in there and you can look for exhibitor demonstrations. If they've got special guests, if they've got announcements, you tick those boxes, filter it, and it shows you who is doing what in the hall, when and where. And some of these exhibitors have also got things that they're broadcasting on their own channels as part of the show. So it's not a virtual thing this year. There's not a specific virtual component, but a lot of people have been trying to give that nod because we're massively aware that there are people who are sheltering, that there are people who can't come because of they're not comfortable doing so. We massively respect that. It has been a very frightening year and a bit, and we would like to very gently encourage people to say we're doing everything possible to make it as safe a show as possible, but we totally get it. If you want to come next year, you will be more than welcome. Please do.
Because COVID restrictions have obviously been changing on a week-to-week basis.
Oh my goodness. So, yes, that is a very gentle way of putting it, Alex. Thank you. Yes. So we were basically saying, look, we want to do these things, but we need to wait to see what the government says, and we also need to wait to see what Public Health England says, and then we also need to wait to see what Public Health Solihull, which is our local council, say. So we had one set of stuff which was nope, there's going to be nothing, it's great, go for it. And we're like, I don't think that's a good idea, but let's see what happens on this. And then so we put in a bunch of bits and pieces as well, which we thought these are sensible measures. This will make people feel safe, it will reduce any kind of risk. We've been massively in touch with the events research programme over the last little while. So one of the chaps at the NEC is massively involved in it, and one of the things we said is, can we be part of the programme? And they said it's going to be fine because after we run this set, they're just going to release people into the wild. Which was like, oh, okay, well that's interesting. So we've been coordinating with them to say, what did you do? What have we done? How can we use it as best practice? And that was fine, and we had a whole set of stuff set up, and it seemed quite sensible. And then Solihull Public Health went, hey guys, that all stuff you're doing, right? Well, now it's like double COVID checks and double this. And we massively respect that that's what we have to do to run a show, and we massively respect that's what they think we need to do in order to keep it safe, and we're going to do it. But obviously telling that to our audience and to our lovely customers and exhibitors who have been massively understanding and awesome, having to say to them, guys, it's changed again. I know this seems like a pain, but honestly this will keep everybody safe, and that needs to be the primary goal. This needs to be the best, most fun couple of days, 3 days, whilst also being a safe thing to do. Which is terrific. So I tell you what the other thing is. So because of this, and because we're running a show, so we are one of the first consumer shows to run this year, and alongside us at the NEC is the quilting show, which is great. You know. We quite like the idea of the audience.
That's a Venn diagram I'd love to see.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting actually. We have a number of volunteers going, oh, it's the quilting show, we need to go there too. It was like, awesome, okay. End up with like a quilted Catan cover and thing. I'm going to ask my mum to make one of those. She's great at quilting. But the other thing that turned up yesterday is a mobile immunisation bus. So if you haven't had your jab, if you want your second jab, you can go and get that done at UK Games Expo. They're just out the front. We've got some lovely photos we're going to share later of Darth Vader getting his second jab. A couple of the Daleks turned up. They were less successful, I understand, but, you know, superior beings, whatever. But yeah, it was really good. So again, it's all these measures to try and keep it safe, make sure everyone's okay, make sure we can play some games.
Yeah, because the hall itself, you've spaced out the booths a lot.
Yes.
How was balancing that against obviously being the first show back, I imagine that exhibitors were rather excited.
Yes. So this is the other thing. The exhibitors have been absolutely brilliant. We've been in contact with them for basically 16 months, and they're so super keen to see people. There's just the joy walking around that hall yesterday and this morning as people see people for the first time. On the Thursday at the show preview, we had a really good turnout from the press and also local retailers and UK and otherwise retailers coming to see what people are showing. And I talked to a number of guys and they said, yeah, really good networking, really good business stuff. I said, has it been good? They said, yes. And you said, you know why? Because I got to see all of my mates for the first time in 16 months, and that is freaking amazing. So yes, very, very, very cool. But so we had about, I think Richard was down to about plan L, and then we cut that back to plan G, and this is all things where, okay, if it's this distance, this is what the map's going to look like. If it's this distance, this is what the map's going to look like. If we have to do that, that's how it's going to look. And eventually we came back in May and he's crossed them all out and he's got plan A, run a show, which was wonderful. But yes, we've got 4-metre wide aisles. All of the NEC have upgraded all of their air filtration systems so that they are medical grade. I keep saying military grade, which sounds frightening. Medical grade, because obviously they were supposed to be, well, they were a Nightingale hospital for a while. I don't know if anyone was here, I don't think so, but so all of that's been upgraded. There's hand sanitizer stations every couple of yards. People have got their own stuff going on. Bathrooms have all got soap.
Pick the brand at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, oh no, I like the smell of that one, but it afterwards it's a bit fizzy. So and yeah, people have become connoisseurs of that. That's interesting, actually. I like that. So there's a lot of measures in place. We are asking people to wear face coverings. We understand there are medical exemptions. The thing that I loved especially yesterday and that we've seen this morning is how understanding and how respectful everyone is being of each other. So we're also doing things. Normally we have a wonderful view of the queue, which is everyone sort of crammed in together going, woo, this is awesome. Except what we've been doing is we've been holding them in Hall 3A. So the NEC have given us a whole nother hall, which normally costs an absolute ton of money, and they've said, no, we're good. We're going to give you a whole nother hall so you can do the ticketing. Everyone is spread out. There's oodles and oodles of space. Once you've got your tickets, everyone's in this gentle holding area ahead of being let in for the show. It's been really, really good. So yeah,
it's a full adventure to get in there.
It is. It's like, right, all those steps you're going to do, you're going to do a few more. So yeah, very good.
Cool. So just rounding up, because I'm conscious that you're in demand. How has the last year and a bit affected the games that you play in?
So we actually started a Roll20 online game in January of 2020. And actually that was good because it meant that I knew what was happening by the time all of our other games went online. So I play Dungeons and Dragons 5th on a Tuesday with our Savage Frontier group. I play another D&D 5th on a Thursday with our Sentinels of Saltmarsh. It's very much like playing with the Avengers on Tuesday and the Guardians of the Galaxy on a Thursday. That's kind of where it's pitching. So hey guys, it's very cool. And then on Sunday we're currently doing Aliens RPG, and we run that through Google Meet, which is quite good. And we use Owl Bear Rodeo as the basis for that one, and that's very cool. So hello, the Sunday mob. It's all very good. And so we've also been doing things on Tabletopia. So Richard, one of our directors, he also makes games for Medusa. He is Medusa Games, and we've been playtesting a bunch of his stuff that's been going on, and we've been doing that through Tabletopia, where they have a virtual tabletop, and we're using Discord to chat and things like that. And we've actually doing our work meetings on Discord. So everyone piles onto Discord, you've got the video up, you chat to everybody, you update people. It's actually been really interesting doing the virtual working. So yeah, I am massively looking forward to trying to see people in person to do a tabletop honest to God's RPG. That would be amazing. But yeah, after this show, got a couple of days to go yet.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Alex.